Yeah, it's more intimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Now, you've played a whole lot of different styles of drumming, okay? Now, do you have a favorite out of all of those different styles? I mean, do you like rock? Would you prefer rock? Or if you had a choice, would you jazz, blues? I mean, or you just like them all?
Well, I like a lot, but I like jazz a lot. I like big band a lot. I was highly influenced as a kid. I got turned on in the 70s to the Quincy Jones albums like Walking in Space, and he had such great tunes. He had Grady Tate and Ray Brown in his rhythm section and all these fabulous jazz artists. One of my music teachers in that day coached our jazz ensemble, opened my ears to the Walking in Space album by Quincy Jones, which was a true work of art in the big band music. And I like Buddy Rich and Louis Bellson and a lot of those great players, but I also like the salsa and the Latin American sound. And I don't even know who the players are. I've just learned to hear it and like it. I learned a lot of what I got down in Miami Beach. You hear it in the bands. They don't use drum kits. They have a timbale player and a guy that plays other percussion instruments. Mm-hmm. But it's remarkable and exciting stuff. And I love jazz, rhythm and blues and funk too, because it's engaging drum playing. It's a lot of fun. And I love the drums more than I love any single form of music that the drums do.
Right. Good. Now, if someone's out there that maybe have some questions for you, like to talk to you, how can they get in touch with Bob Breen?
I have an email that I can be reached at because I do some teaching in my home. I have the equipment downstairs in the nice family room.
You do teaching?
Yeah, I do a lot of practice there too to learn what I got to learn. But my email is bobbyb, that's B-O-B-B-Y-B, 237 @yahoo.com. And I can field any interest or questions. I have room for a few more students if they can accommodate the nights I teach, if anybody's interested. And I play jobs. Anybody wants me to play their venues, I'm always happy. I learn pretty quickly. And as we discussed earlier, when you can read music, you can learn much faster and engage with the music instead of hang around somebody's basement practicing forever till you got it memorized. Mm-hmm. So anybody has drum issues, I love drums. I love talking to people about drums, love to talk about drums to drummers and other musicians, or people that want to be drummers and musicians.
Right. Now, we talked a lot about drumming and drummers and technique and equipment and all that. But one thing we didn't touch on is, how can I put this? Preparing for rehearsal, returning people's phone calls. You know, I mean, for more of the business end of things, you know, because I noticed in this town, a lot of times, man, you call a guy, man, about a music-related business, and you don't hear from him for like 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean? And
we know the same.
We know
friends.
the same
we
people.
Know we can't go there, but we have very dear friends.
Yeah, or they show up for rehearsal and they're not prepared.
Right.
You know, and they
want to
sit there.
They don't have a pencil to make notes.
Yeah, you know. So, you know, how important is that, you know, for like, say, many of the young inspiring drummers that come up, you know, as far as like what we just talked about, how important would you say that was as far as, you know, continue to work?
Well, it's of utmost importance because I've been told by some of the people that hire me, one thing they like, I tend to show up early. Mm-hmm. I wear clean clothes. Mm-hmm. I dress the way the leader wants me to dress. I do what the leader wants to do. I don't tell him or her that they should change it. It's their gig. Do what they want. Be there early so they don't worry about you showing up. When they call you, even if you can't do the job, get back to them as soon as you can because they're grateful, and then they know, well, they'll call drummer B. So maybe Bill's available or Jim. Right. But they are business people who do music business. Mm-hmm. And you got to treat this like a business. If you don't call people back, they quit calling you because they don't know where you are or if you have any interest. Mm-hmm.
And see, that's why when we first started talking and I asked you for a resume, you sent me one. And but you had one to send because you conduct yourself that way. And and other guys that I talk to, man, I ask them for a resume and they don't have one because they don't show up. They don't return calls. They're not prepared, you know. So I guess the key word to hear is dependability.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
Treat it like a business.
Exactly.
It's a job. This is not my hobby.
Exactly.
I have a full-time day job, but this is my preferred industry, music.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is my good friend, Mr. Bob Breen. Hope you enjoyed him as much as I did. And Bob, would you do me a favor? Would you take us on home?
We're going home, everybody.
Come on.